Hi everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. Today we're breaking down the best college basketball picks and predictions for Tuesday, November 11, 2025. Before we dive into tomorrow's slate, let's take a moment to recap the results from yesterday. Let's quickly recap yesterday's games. North Carolina hosted South Carolina State and won 85-62, covering -1.5. South Carolina State shot just 38% from the field, lost the rebound battle by 7, and committed 24 turnovers in 40 minutes. This team is officially in auto-fade mode for the foreseeable future. Their upcoming schedule includes Charleston, South Dakota, Chattanooga, Missouri, and Winthrop. They're likely to get destroyed in each of those matchups. Western Kentucky took on Eastern Kentucky on the road, with Western Kentucky plus 1.5. This was a back-and-forth thriller, with both teams trading 5 to 7-point leads throughout the game. Ultimately, Western Kentucky pulled out an 87-79 win thanks to a few costly turnovers by Eastern Kentucky down the stretch. It's worth noting that Western Kentucky has now won 19 of the last 20 matchups between these programs. Iowa State hosted Mississippi State, laying -4.5. This game was played almost entirely in front of Cyclone fans, and Iowa State dominated 96-80. Mississippi State's scoring was heavily dependent on Josh Hubard, and they committed 26 turnovers compared to Iowa State's 9. The over or double down over of 156.5 also hit here, as the game reached a total score of 176. The UNCC Wilmington vs. Kent State matchup ended with UNCC Wilmington winning, although they shot just 38% from the field and 25% from 3, making only 6 of 24 attempts. They did win the offensive rebound battle 15-7 and the turnover battle 11-7, but simply couldn't convert enough shots from deep. Now, on to the two losses. TCU was favored by 17.5 at home against Lamar but only managed a 13-point win. Halftime was a nail-biting 39-38, and TCU, despite shooting 51% from the field and 42% from 3, lost the turnover battle to a Southland team at home. This performance cemented Jamie Dixon and his team on the ban list. With yesterday's recap complete, let's jump into the picks for Tuesday, November 11th. Today's slate is arguably the best we've seen all season, so instead of 5 games, we'll break down 7. First up, Kentucky plus 3.5 at Louisville. This is the Bluegrass Battle, and these programs have an intense rivalry. Kentucky is 2-0 on the year, beating Nicholls 77-51 and Valpo 107-59. They have a lot of transfers, including a player from Alabama, a player from Florida, and the point guard from Pittsburgh returning. The starting lineup is experienced but the bench is young. Louisville, on the other hand, is also 2-0, dominating South Carolina State and Jackson State. They have size at every position and a deep roster. This line is intimidating, and while Louisville could easily win by 15, we'll take Kentucky plus 3.5. Next, we have Michigan minus 12.5 against Wake Forest. This matchup should be a blowout. Michigan is ranked 6th nationally and has bolstered its roster with transfers from UCLA, Illinois, and UAB, including Lendon Lendenberg, a near NBA talent. Wake Forest, meanwhile, is 2-0 but has only faced American and Morehead State, both at home. They shoot just 44% from the field and 28% from 3, and this will be their first real test on the road against a top Big Ten team. Michigan is physically dominant, particularly with a 7 feet 3 inches center, making this an easy pick. Wisconsin at home against Ball State is next, and this line is set at 25.5 with an over-under of 153.5. Ball State is 2-0, but their wins are unconvincing, including a D3 opponent. Wisconsin is ranked and physically superior, especially with a 6 feet 7 inches point guard against Ball State's small frontcourt. Wisconsin is likely to win by 40 points, and the over is also a solid option here. Ohio at St. Mary's is an interesting pick, with Ohio plus 18.5. Ohio is 1-1, losing to Arkansas State by 4 and beating Illinois State at home by 4. They're making a West Coast trip, which is unusual for them, and could provide a team bonding advantage. St. Mary's is 2-0 but lost significant production from last year's roster. Their 7 feet 2 inches center is the only real threat, but if Ohio can handle him, they're a strong pick to cover. A moneyline sprinkle is worth considering here. High Point hosts Jacksonville, with High Point minus 16.5. High Point is off to a hot start, beating Furman by 26 and a D2 school by 74. Jacksonville is 1-1 with a roster mostly made of true freshman guards and lacks size in the paint. High Point's experience, size, and coaching make this a solid bet. Davidson at Charlotte is next, and we're taking Davidson moneyline at plus 105. Davidson has reshaped their roster through the transfer portal, adding multiple sharpshooters and veterans. They've shot 50% from 3 in a recent game against Washington State, proving their firepower is real. Charlotte is 2-0 but lacks size in the backcourt and an intimidating home crowd. Davidson should win a high-scoring game around 92-84. Finally, Florida hosts Florida State, with Florida minus 17.5 and the over at 179.5. Florida State has a first-year head coach with no prior college experience, implementing a high-tempo, low-defense style. Florida, meanwhile, brings back much of its championship-winning roster and has bolstered its team through the transfer portal, including point guard Zaven Lee from Princeton. This in-state rivalry at home favors Florida comfortably winning by 20+. There are also a few games we considered but didn't bet. Kansas minus 25.5 against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Army plus 31.5 against Duke, and Texas Tech at Illinois. Kansas should dominate, Army could have a strong home crowd showing, and Texas Tech versus Illinois is intriguing, but Illinois has a hostile home environment. That wraps up today's college basketball predictions. With a slate this strong, there are plenty of opportunities to make some solid bets and enjoy high-quality basketball. Thanks for tuning in to Beyond the Box Score, and we'll catch you in the next video.